Hi everyone, it's Talia from Motherhood, The Real Deal. Welcome back to my channel. It's great to see you again. I'm really excited to have Jose Ucar, mindset coach, back on the channel by popular demand. You may have seen our previous two videos. If not, I will link them below. So today we're going to be talking about a subject that is close to my heart as someone who has really struggled with this as an issue, limiting self-beliefs. So as a mum, and as many mums I've spoken to seem to battle with this issue of not feeling mum enough, not feeling they're good enough, feeling like they're not doing enough, feeling like they haven't achieved enough, feeling like they're not there for their children enough. It's like we're damned if we do, we're damned if we don't. And so I really wanted to address this issue of limiting self-beliefs today with Jose. So, hi Jose.
Hello.
When it comes to limiting self-beliefs, firstly, I want to talk a bit more about what are limiting self-beliefs and why do we have them?
Right. Well, first of all, I cannot believe this is the third show that we actually do together. I mean, it's a great pleasure to be here again. Thank you very much. And thank you very much, moms, for listening as well. I do like your jumper.
There's a story behind this, everyone.
All right, we can go back to that one later.
Later, yeah.
I mean, when we speak about limiting beliefs, and the interesting thing is that we all have them. Obviously, you as moms and as human beings. And it's so interesting because we decided at some point in our lives, we made the decision to believe in a certain way. So think about it, it's just decisions we're making. And sometimes they are not very resourceful. So beliefs, whether they are limiting or empowering, they are the consequence of a decision we made in the past. So the good news is that we can change that anytime we really want to, we decide to.
That is good news.
That is actually very good news. And I've been changing them and I've turned them into a game as well. Because whenever I see I'm not getting to where I want to be, or actually doing that which I would love to do, I now know that there is some limitations. There's something I'm thinking that's holding me back. And then if I got that belief here, if I turn it upside down, it turns into that thing that I know I can do. And that's how I tend to play with beliefs. In the past, I used to think that failing was bad. What do I do now? There's no failure, only feedback. And it's just basically deciding not to believe in this and to believe in this one here.
So it's really just about managing your mind, isn't it, when it comes to how you view yourself. If something is not going the way that you want, or say you feel like you haven't done, as well as you'd like to in something, I guess it's about thinking, well, how can you turn that into a positive rather than letting that inner critical voice run you down? So I feel like for many of us, it may be obvious what our limiting self-beliefs are, but could it be that some of us have limiting self-beliefs that we are not that conscious of? And also, if we do, how do we go about uncovering those?
Talia, that's a very good question. And I could potentially say that it comes with practice. The more dialogue we develop with ourselves, the more we're going to be able to find these limiting beliefs. And it's also a good way to spot them, if you like. Whenever you are trying to achieve something, to get somewhere, and you're not getting there, and you're getting stuck, you could actually go back and analyze it because there's something that's holding you back. And I got another very good question that moms, you could ask yourself, you could ask other moms, and you could ask anybody really. And it's when you spot a limiting belief, and what would a limiting belief be? I can't cook. It's a great example, but that would be mainly for some men because I can't cook. So that's a empowering belief, if you like. But then the opposite one would be, I don't believe I can cook. And then when did you decide that? And I think with that question, you break that pattern. When did you decide that? Because it was a decision you made at some point. So that would challenge that belief. And then what would you like to believe instead? Or what do you think would be more resourceful in this case?
So I guess it's about when you have that limiting self-belief pop up, it's almost like you need to have a word with yourself to challenge why you're thinking that thing. Like, where did it come from? And why should you even be thinking that thing about yourself?
Exactly. Because as we said, we made that decision at some point in our lives. So when did you decide that? And is that helping you in a way? Is that making you better? Does that serve you? You can ask yourself all of those questions and you will come with answers and you will come with alternatives. And then ask yourself, what would I like to believe instead?
So obviously that's almost a bit of a like mini exercise, but I love your juicy exercises. So I want to ask you now, please can you share one for everyone watching, an exercise that they can do to help work through or perhaps combat their limiting self-beliefs?
Sure. I can think about one now. And as you know, moms and Talia, I love using our imagination and our mind. There are some exercises, there are many different options really. And there are some that are more kinesthetic, but obviously being in the program, I will struggle showing it. But we could look at that later as well, because that's some of the things I do in the coaching sessions. But now I would like to, again, use your imagination and go back to that time when you made that decision that created that limiting belief. Because at that point, you could have decided anything, couldn't you?
I've got one in my head right now, I'm sure you can tell.
Right, yeah, I can. And then ask yourself, what would you have liked to believe instead at that point? And give that new belief to the younger version of you. To the younger version of you, moms. To that previous you at that point.
I've just done it in my head, it feels awesome.
Okay, and then the next step, now see yourself evolving, growing, and coming closer to the now, having that new belief you just created, and see how your whole life starts turning out differently. Doesn't it?
It's incredibly empowering.
And as you start getting to the now, begin looking at your future using this new empowering belief that you have. And I would like to ask you, what happens next?
Can you see the big smile on my face? Feels good.
It's great because she shows all the emotion, so I think the exercise was working.
It's working. Thank you. I don't know how that was for you at home, but I hope that you managed to try the exercise. If not, maybe rerun this video and try it, because I've just done it in my head and I'm feeling really good about that self-limiting belief, which is no longer a self-limiting belief. So thank you, Jose.
No worries, it's a pleasure.
And on that note,
I don't know, I think I want to ask you a question.
Oh, okay.
Because, you're wearing the jumper and I know there's a story behind it.
Oh, yes, I almost forgot.
I would love to hear it again, because every time she tells me the story, I love it. It's something we did in the past and I think it's worked for you. Do you still use it?
Yeah, I do. So this definitely relates to the self-limiting beliefs very closely, because it has to do with that inner critical voice. And as you taught me, when I hear that inner critical voice, is to mock it with my Mickey Mouse voice. So when I hear that inner voice saying, hey, you can't do that, why can't you do that? I talk to myself in a Mickey Mouse voice. So that is the story of the Mickey Mouse jumper, because I wanted to wear it today to share that as a tool that Jose actually shared with me and taught me how to use when I hear that inner critical voice, which is so closely related to self-limiting beliefs.
Yeah, it is indeed. And then after you've spoken like Mickey Mouse, how do you feel differently now?
I feel great. I feel like I can do anything.
I don't think we need to ask you that question.
So that's another tool. Use your inner Mickey Mouse voice when you have that self-limiting belief come and sit on your shoulder, because it really does work. So on that note, thank you once again, Jose, for being here and sharing all your insight and tips and knowledge. It's always great to have you on the channel. Thanks to everyone at home for watching. I hope you enjoyed this follow-up collaboration with Jose and I. If you did, please do give this video a thumbs up and hit subscribe. If you would like to see us cover more topics, please do leave a comment below. We'd love to hear your suggestions. And if you have any other questions about the topic of limiting self-beliefs or anything else, please do feel free to leave them in a comment below and we will jump in on that convo. So thanks everyone, and see you again soon. Thank you, Jose.
Bye-bye, moms.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Talia. Bye. bye, bye.